Holy shit. That was actually pretty good.
I've cultivated my Elmo impression over the years.
Wow.
I can only do that. If I keep going, then it starts to fall. But eventually I'm going to be the god of being Elmo.
They might hire you.
Yeah. I mean, the guy who plays him now is like 34, so...
was it just a rumor, or what? I heard at one point that, like, the actor for Elmo, like, was a child molester.
I'm pretty sure that was a rumor.
Because I remember, like, shit like that was being said, like, all the time about, like, all those kind of, like, Barney and
Elmo, it was just everything. Really young. I think it might have just... Because I remember when I was a kid, I heard that all the time, but it was always from other kids.
See, the thing that got me, though, is, like, I remember hearing that when I was, like, a bit older.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh, shit. I think it was, like, the actor who voiced him or something, like the original actor. I'm not 100% sure on that, though, so don't take my word for it.
Anyway, welcome to the last podcast of the year.
Yeah.
It's coming out the 30th of December. And woo-wee, what a ride! Mm-hmm. 2019 was the birth of Screen Weens. That's pretty much all that happened.
Yeah, we watched a
lot of movies.
Yeah, some good ones, some bad ones.
Yeah, I think we watched probably about like 55 to 60 films.
What are your top 3 and bottom 3?
Ooh, okay.
And let me
let me
pull out mine and look at the episodes that we've got. That way I can...
Hold on, let's see. This is a good idea. We should have talked about it early. All right, but this is easy. I got them all tagged, so I can just sort by my highest rating.
Oh.
All right, so top 3. What the fuck? It's not sorting. God damn it. Okay. Top 3 would probably have to be easily Scenes from Marriage.
Okay.
Before Sunrise.
Okay.
And Lost City of Z, I think, would be my third one.
Let's see. I'm trying to decide, like, how I want to kind of categorize this. Because it's like, we've covered, like, just, like, a couple movies that I picked just simply because they were, like, some of my favorite films. So I don't think I want to count those. I want to, like, pick movies that were my favorite that I had, like, kind of watched for the first time for this.
Yeah, understandable. So,
probably going to go with... I really liked... Scenes from a Marriage. Let's see. Scenes from a Marriage. I really liked El Topo.
Yeah.
I thought that one was pretty good. And then...
If I wasn't picking Before Sunrise, because I had seen it just a couple months previously, I would probably pick maybe Sunset Boulevard for my third.
Sunset Boulevard was pretty good. I think my third... Here's a good one. Let's see.
Oh, The Little Drummer Boy?
The Little Drummer Boy.
That's my favorite movie!
Yeah, I'd probably say Lost City of Z. Lost City of Z was pretty fucking good. I need to see it at Astra now that it's out, like, DVD and shit.
Okay, what are your bottom 3?
Oh, fuck.
Mine are Last of the Lemons, Little Drummer Boy, and honestly, probably Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas as well. That week was a fucking rough ass week.
Yeah. I agree with you. Those were all terrible. I'm gonna try to pick some different ones because I feel like those would be an easy target, especially now that you've set them. Let me see. Last of the Living, definitely. That one was fucking awful. I hated Ghostmates.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad.
You mean pretty good?
No, I mean pretty bad. And then, yeah, probably. Oh god.
God, those Christmas movies are bad.
Yeah, they were definitely like the worst that we had covered so far.
That week made me so fucking sad.
I think I'm gonna say either Visitor Q or Runaway. I really didn't care for either of those. They didn't like offend me.
Yeah, I mean, Runaway was really bad, but
yeah, we
Visitor
have
Q. I didn't care. Like, I thought it was okay. I didn't like
it. Just made me really uncomfortable.
I feel it. Okay. Yeah, so there's our end of the day. So let's just look at 2019 in general. What would you say, like, you didn't see a ton of movies from this year, like, comparatively to me, but what are your top 3 from the year?
Definitely loved The Lighthouse.
Yep, I knew that was going to be there.
Let's see. Parasite was pretty good. Let's see. I don't count Under the Silver Lake as this year, even though it partially came out this year and was like released this year to the masses. It's a movie that I kind of associate with like 2017, 2018, whenever it was originally slated to come out.
2012.
Yeah, that movie had been on the shelf for a while. Let me pull up my letterbox and see what
mine is. First is Parasite. Second is Second is Knives Out. Third is Climax. Which Climax is still like technically a 2018 release, but I usually focus on like when it gets like a wide release as like when it's actually out. Because I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking see it when it's at fucking Cannes. I'm not going to Cannes.
Yeah, The Lighthouse, Parasite, and then let's see. Take me to my ratings. Wherever those are.
But, I mean, like, Dark Waters surprised me. Dark Waters is on my top. It's number 12 right now.
Yeah, there's still a lot of movies I need to see. I usually don't get to see a lot of movies until they, like, hit DVD, just simply because I don't like going to the theater very much anymore.
Yeah, I feel it.
But, let's see. Where the fuck are my ratings?
Maybe if you use Letterboxd more often.
Yeah,
made a list of
I haven't
2019 ranked. This would be easy, like me.
I don't like ranking movies until I feel like I've seen like enough to where I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen all the movies I wanted to see this year.
Well, I mean, like, I just like ranking because then it's easy. Like, I see one movie and I'm like, okay, did I like this more than this?
Fair enough. I swear I used to be able to just click. Oh, okay, I see. I haven't touched this app in a good hot minute.
Yeah, since you watched Star Trek.
Let's see. Newest first. Done.
While Thomas is doing that, I'm just gonna say I saw the Rise of Skywalker, and I unfortunately can now say I did not like a Star Wars movie, and I watched it twice in a row.
Dang.
Because I was like really excited, so I'm like, I'm just gonna watch it twice in a row. It's gonna be great. And yeah, that was rough. That made me just super depressed.
Yeah.
Thanks, JJ. Just kidding, JJ. You're fine. I'm not gonna bully you. I like Lost. I like The Force Awakens. What you got?
I don't know. I guess according to my letterbox, because I haven't logged that many movies that I've seen this year, or I just haven't seen as many as I thought I had. But I'm gonna say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because
I never saw it.
But I'm confident that one will not be in like my top 5 if I were to see like more movies that I want to.
No, I went crazy this year. I watched. Right now, I have 830 logged. From watching this year, and 145 of them being releases from this year.
I like the early part of this year. I was like in a movie fucking mode, and then once like after March, I don't know. I just like burnt myself out or something, and I've just been like outside of the podcast. I've watched just kind of a few movies. It's my 2020 goal to watch at least one additional movie every week, if not 2 to 3. I'm going to try to watch a lot more movies.
To watch at least 1,000 movies next year.
You know, I'm going to set that goal. I think I can do it.
What, 1,000 movies next year?
Yeah.
I went crazy this year and didn't even make it to 900.
Well, I'll go.
I still got days.
Yeah, I'll just
the next few days. I'm just like, I watched 3. I'm just like dying on the couch. I'm like, I watched 7 movies at the same time.
I'll just watch everything in 3 speed.
God. There was a guy on the Letterboxd subreddit, and he was talking about, he was really proud of the fact that he watches all his movies at 1 times 1.7 speed. And I'm just like, that's, if you want to watch a movie that way, go ahead, I guess, but you're not actually watching it how it's intended.
Yeah.
You're losing the pacing, the structure, you're losing so many things.
I'm going to be honest. Those Rankin and Bass movies, I watched them on 2 speed. I turned those 15...
I just refuse. I'll never do... I'm just like, no.
I do it with stuff that I don't take as seriously. Sometimes, if I want to watch a Godzilla movie, they can be sometimes very slow. So I'll just crank it up a little bit. It's not something I do with a movie I consider to be pretty serious though.
Godzilla's extremely serious.
The first one is.
So is Son of Godzilla.
Son of Godzilla is a staple.
That's a classic.
It's a drama for the ages.
Let's watch every Godzilla movie for the podcast.
Okay.
What is that, 1,000?
It's 30. Roughly.
Let's watch every kaiju film ever made for the podcast.
That would be more than 1,000. I'm sure.
I don't know about that. There'd be a lot of really bad ones. A lot of really bad ones that are sci-fi original movies.
Yeah, that gets to the point where it's how far do you take the term kaiju?
Yeah. Is Monsters vs. Aliens a kaiju film?
Technically, if you're just going on
Susan!
Now, if you were to limit it down to Japanese,
what makes a monster? Can Godzilla be considered a kaiju in the later ones? Some of the ones, Godzilla's not a monster. What do we define as a monster? Is it immoral to call a being that greatly impacts our lives and defends us a monster? Are we evil for calling Godzilla a kaiju?
Godzilla's not real, so...
You don't know that.
I'm pretty confident. But, I might be wrong. Who knows? Maybe out there in an iceberg somewhere, he just lies there, waiting. But, who knows? Yeah.
Anything else you've been up to this week?
No, just holiday stuff mostly. I played half of the original Resident Evil 3 last night. Pretty fun.
Any good? Okay. I've never played that one. I played a bit of 1, I played most of 2. I played, I think, all of 4, and I played all of 7.
Mm.
Oh, and I played all of 5. I just forget about that because it was ass.
Yeah.
It was fun because I was playing with somebody else, so it was fun ass.
Yeah.
Like yours.
Oh, thank you. I've played the remake of the first one. I've played the director's cut of the first one, but I haven't beaten it. I've played both the original second one and the remake of the second one. And I've played most of Code Veronica and a little bit of 4. So, slowly working my way through the series.
And then we're going to watch all the movies?
I'm sure they'll be on here eventually.
No, I've only seen the first, I believe, and I was not a fan. I know some people were like, no, it's actually kind of pretty good.
I've got a list of really bad movies that I think you would really dislike in case you just throw some bad ones my way. I can kind of retaliate.
Yeah, but I feel like I can handle a bad movie more than you can.
Maybe. Probably. I get pretty impatient when I'm watching a bad movie.
You just pick one. I'm like, this was great. As long as it's not Puppet Master 1, I'll be okay.
I've got a couple.
I have not been watching a lot of things this week. I got back into... I bought Tabletop Simulator like 2 years ago and played an hour of it. And then, just because I had no one to play with, but a bunch of my friends have it now, and we played... I logged like 26 hours in the last week. Like I've been playing that nonstop because I love board games. And it's also really easy to play test your own games in it, so I uploaded all my own board games into it, and I've been fiddling with that. So
cool.
Back at it again, because I haven't worked on them in like 2 years. And I'm like, what the fuck? Most of these were like almost done, and I just didn't do it. So I'm back at that, but I did watch Grand Isle with Pierre.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
How was that?
It's a new Nicolas Cage movie. Very bad.
Of course.
Probably I think it might be my least favorite Nick Cage movie from this year. There's been 4. 3 of them were very bad.
What?
One I actually liked.
What would you say out of what you've seen is your least favorite Nick Cage movie?
I think it's called 211?
211?
It's a like cop propaganda film.
I remember, I vaguely remember you telling me about that one when you watched it.
But let me just check my rankings. Yeah, it's 211. Other than that, Christmas Carol the movie. There was an animated Christmas Carol movie from like 2001. It's, I think, my least favorite animated film. Besides, like, it's either that or Sergeant Stumpy. But, that's what I talked about it when we talked about Muppets Christmas.
Yeah,
Carol.
I remember you bringing
Nick Cage.
He plays the ghost that first talks to Scrooge.
Whatever his fucking name is.
Yeah.
There are quite a few Nick Cage movies. I have rated a half a star out of 5. There are 7.
Damn.
Let's see how many ones I've given a 10. 4.
Oh,
I would like it to be the same.
So. I still need to watch that Leaving Las Vegas movie.
Dude, that movie's so good.
There's a few.
You see adaptation as well.
Yeah, there's a few of his that I need to watch. I'll probably end up watching adaptation. Next year is a big year for the Kaufman. Because his adaptation for Netflix of I'm Thinking of Ending Things is coming out. And he's publishing his first novel in like April of next year.
And it's called Being Eaten.
It was called Ant Kind. I think the title changed though. Yeah. It's going to be interesting because he's a really good storyteller and a really good writer. And he's like one of my favorite screenplay writers, if not my favorite. And he's a great director too.
I like Michael Bay.
Oh yeah, totally. But he's always like restricted and his movies never do very well. So I feel like novels will be like a really good place for him to like... Like his movies did well at one point, but there was a decline after like Synecdoche, New York. Because he did Synecdoche, New York, and then he did Anomalisa, and neither of those movies sold very well. And
unfortunate.
Hollywood's eyes, that means he's not very credible. And he had some like TV pilots that like never got off the ground. Like he did one for FX that was like he pitched one that was supposed to be like this woman, and it's like a day in her life, but like every episode is like where she made a different like life choice, and it branches off into like a different like universe, like a multiverse kind of thing.
And at the end they all get together and fuck.
Maybe, I don't know.
Gotta call up the Kaufman.
It never got greenlit, but
we're gonna greenlight it now. FX?
Yeah, get your shit together.
Yeah, so I watched Grand Isle. I don't even know if I watched anything else, honestly. I watched almost all of season 3 of The Dragon Prince with my girlfriend like 2 hours ago.
Oh, nice. I don't know what that show is.
2 more episodes. It's by one of the creators of Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Oh,
it's
okay.
a Netflix animated show. I really like it.
Neat.
I watched Hazbin Hotel.
Hazbin Hotel. That sounds familiar.
It's just like this animated like pilot thing that somebody made. Just this animator on like YouTube. It was bad. Everybody likes it. I thought it was bad.
I wonder if because that sounds really...
It just came out. It's been on like the Twitterverse a lot. People are talking about it and shit. Oh, and I watched Cats, which you should see the review of Cats and The Rise of Skywalker now on twoweensandascreen.com. Just kidding. youtube.com/twoweensandascreen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch that Cats review?
I didn't get a chance to finish it, but I listened to like 2/3 of it.
Did you like that amazing first part I made? Where I'm screaming in the car?
Yes.
Yeah. That's visionary right there. I'm a visionary.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I rewatched all the Star Wars movies. And that was fantastic. I had tons of fun doing that.
I haven't...
And then I watched The Rise of Skywalker.
I've been meaning to rewatch, because I still gotta rewatch the original trilogy, and then I gotta rewatch 7 and 8, and then I gotta go see 9. I might just skip the original trilogy. I've seen them before, I know.
Have you seen the holiday special? I rewatched that one as well. I was going to watch the Ewok movies as well before I saw 7, 8, and 9, but I didn't have time. So I'm going to do that hopefully this week.
I haven't seen the holiday special. I've seen clips and extensive reviews of the holiday special. I'll take your word for it. I don't know if I ever want to sit through it.
Yeah, so mostly just board games for me, and I have a Christmas thing I'm going to do today, later. Like, after we're done with the podcast, I'm going to go take a nap for like 3 hours and then drive down to Chehalis.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Yeah. You want to hear some questions?
Yeah.
From Pierre.
Of course. Who else?
Pierre's questions. Hey, Thomas.
Oh.
Can you confirm that I am a real person and not just a fake account used by London to troll you?
I mean, I can't, like, 100% absolutely confirm that, but I'm friends with you on Facebook. I've seen one picture of you. And I know Joe knows that you're real, or at least claims that you are, but my friend Lucero has also claimed you're real, and I don't know if he would buy into this gaslighting gag.
It's so fun to gaslight. Okay. Do you think there should be a rule that forbids children from being in movies? If so, are you fine with all child roles being played by CGI, robot, or short old people?
It's funny that you bring this up, because I was listening to the Bunny Ears podcast, which is Macaulay Culkin's podcast, and he does one with Will Wheaton, and they talk a lot about like their upbringing as child actors. It's really interesting. I recommend it, but I think child acting is fine as long as they're, following like the proper like laws that make it so like they're not on set like all day and they don't like overextend themselves. And most importantly, and this is the thing that seems to be lacking, at least from when like Will Wheaton and Macaulay Culkin were growing up.
Cut the parents' throats.
Yeah, the parents shouldn't have just like blind access to the money. Until like the kid's 18. That's pretty messed up. And B, the kid should have final say in all matters. Because there's lots of stories of them just being like, no, I don't want to like act in this movie. I want to... Yeah. Can I take a year off and please be a kid? And their parents are like, no, absolutely not. And it's like, if the kid wants to do it, fine and well. Perfectly fine. But if they don't want to do it, they shouldn't be, like, forced into doing it.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Or robot.
Yeah, if you can find a convincing enough robot.
And finally, what do you think about remaking Eraserhead, but actually good?
Only if David Lynch makes it.
You should make a sequel to Eraserhead that follows, the lady in the radiator. She escapes.
Twin Peaks has a lot of Eraserhead-esque...
spoiler.
It's not a spoiler. It's got just, like, kind of, like, tributes in the way that, like, they film certain things and stuff. And it very much feels like all of David Lynch's stuff takes place in like the same universe. It doesn't necessarily, but it feels like it does.
Okay, fair enough. And that's it for questions. Those were the final questions of the year. I'm glad that Pierre had the final question.
I'm glad that he referred to me by my actual name.
Yeah. Well, in Pierre's lore for the podcast, E10 and Thomas are separate beings.
Oh.
E10's kind of like evil.
Huh.
He's kind of like the podcast version of you. I don't know why he referred to you as Thomas, because E10 is a furry, Thomas is not. E10 eats babies, Thomas does not.
You know, I'm fully unaware of whatever this like, alternate personality of
he has like a full like Wikipedia he's working on for you. An E10.
I feel like someone's writing like all this like detailed, deep propaganda about me, and it's like stuff that I just don't even hear about.
Yeah. So, do you have a movie idea for this week? If not, that's okay.
Are you saying that we should skip it?
I'm saying maybe. What was your favorite movie idea from our episodes, if you remember any of them?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, man.
I don't know if this was my favorite, but I keep coming back to the one that kind of Joe started and then I built upon, and we, about Humpty Dumpty. He, falls, he, breaks his egg, and there's the egg kingdom, and then he starts harvesting all their skins to make himself stronger and harden his body to be indestructible egg. I keep thinking about that. I had a dream about that the other night.
Did you really?
Yeah, I don't know why. It keeps coming in my head.
It's your destiny, I guess.
Yeah, it's my destiny to become an egg man.
I guess. Your
doctor
lose all your hair, like Joe.
No.
You have to become an egg. The dream said so.
Not gonna lose all my hair like Joe. I'm not gonna be bald like Joe! Hi, Joe.
Alright, let's see. I remember I pitched my, robot adoption horror movie. I think that one's kind of neat. I don't remember most of the pitches. Yeah,
I'm gonna go through all of them and edit together a compilation of 2019's movie idea.
I remember liking the one that was based off your little final few weeks at work, where you're it's like a Shining-esque movie where you just descend into madness in your final few weeks at a job that's overworking.
Oh, now that I'm done with that job and I've been done for a while, I'm just whoa. I was so depressed. Holy shit. Oh.
Yeah.
When you're in the deep, deep recesses of depression, you don't realize how depressed you are. Because I realized, I'm kind of just always riding that wave of depression. Mm. But I was the bottom of the Mariana Trench.
Oof.
And I was I got to the surface.
That was me at the tail end of working at the theater.
Yeah.
I was fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Oh man, that place was awful. But at least they didn't work me.
At least we met each other through that.
We met each other. I met some alright people there, I guess.
Some alt-right people?
Is
that where you joined them?
There were people I liked who worked there.
Yeah, Eric.
Who?
Eric.
Oh, the guy with the hot dog in his mouth.
Yeah. Oh. I don't think he's in the current animation.
Oh, is he not? I have once I find my iPad, because I don't know where the fuck it went, but that's what has all the animation stuff on it. I just have to actually animate it. But I have all the images for the animations, so
cool.
I'll edit that together and then deal with my stupid editing system that doesn't know how to, like, put everything out in the correct aspect ratio.
Well, end of the year. I always get super contemplative at the end of the year, even though it doesn't matter at all. I'm always just like, the end of the year. And then the beginning of the year happens, I'm like, why did I spend so much time going, the end of the year? Nothing's different.
I always just coast through, and then I always, like, do that thing where I think it's still the previous year.
For like 4 months.
For more like 6.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, is it 20? Like, I still sometimes think, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm 20. No, I'm not. I'm fucking 22. And
sometimes then when I think I'm like 18. I'm like, yeah, I'm just graduated high school. I'm like, holy fuck, I graduated high school almost 5 years ago.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you.
It's freaking me the fuck out. I'm like, what the fuck have I done with my life? I've started a podcast.
It's easier to keep track when you're in high school because they have you in like the grades and label you. But in real life, there's nothing like that.
I'm at the drinking grade now.
Yeah, exactly. And if you live here, it's now the smoking age.
Yeah, bruh!
They bumped it up.
The ganja!
They bumped it up to 21 for like tobacco use and shit like that.
That was already when I lived in Hawaii. It was 21.
I think it's kind of absurd. I mean, I realize that shit's not good for anyone.
Yeah, but I think drinking should also be 18.
Yeah, exactly.
Or no age restriction.
I think that there's the one argument that stands pretty tall today still, which is if you're old enough to go die for your country, you should be old enough to smoke and drink if you fucking want to. I
just let whoever drink, you know?
Yeah, a baby.
I think it's more important. It's more important to introduce better things to help cope with addiction than it is to try to limit somebody's ability to go get something.
Yeah, because I mean, a part of it's definitely got to be like the forbidden fruit aspect that makes people.
Well, like a ton of countries that don't have like age restrictions, they have way less alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just a normal thing. They're like, yeah, we just have like a glass of wine for dinner.
Yeah,
that's it. People are like, no, you can't have it until you're 21. But it's just like, people that are gonna drink are still gonna drink before that. They're just gonna have, here, adult that isn't stupid, go buy me alcohol.
Exactly.
I did it.
Oh, well, I haven't bought anyone alcohol, but...
I know, I got a bunch of people to buy me alcohol when I was like...
Yeah, of course.
12. No, not really.
No,
I didn't drink until I was like 17. And then I went off the deep end.
I think I was like 15 or 16, maybe.
Yeah. Now you're just a bum.
I don't drink. Like
Thomas he just drinks water.
I mean, I drink like soda and
shit. He just drinks water.
I wish.
You could say that Thomas is a saint.
No, I don't think you can.
Okay. Oh man, I almost watched Autumn Sonata this morning.
Oh, the Ingmar Bergman.
Yeah, but then my girlfriend woke up and she wanted to hang out, so I'm like, okay, we'll watch The Dragon Prince instead.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm gonna watch it because it's only like an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
yeah, he's got a lot of like shorter movies. There's a few of his that I need to like sit down and like go through that I've been meaning to, because after that podcast I was like, holy shit, I need to watch more of these.
Yeah.
Still gotta watch like Persona, I can't remember the name of it. It's the one with
Wild Strawberries.
I still need to see that too. Oh gosh, Liv Ullmann, is that her name?
Yeah. I love her.
Yeah, she's great. Saint Anne, I think, is like it's the one where she's like a nun. That one's like supposedly really good. Autumn Sonata's one. Eventually I'm just going to slowly work my way through that entire box set that I have and watch like 30 of his movies.
Are you referring to Cries and Whispers?
No.
Okay. I was like, that could maybe be a nun.
No, not that one.
Let's see. You were thinking of... I don't No. Fuck. I still really want to watch Sarah Band.
Yeah, I still have to see that too. Let me see.
Anyway, Bergman's a fucking genius.
Yeah,
I almost watched another Jarmusch film this morning because I just watched the podcast films like 10 hours ago.
I watched Stranger Than Paradise the day before yesterday, and then I watched I Am Not a Witch like this morning.
Nice. Yeah, but I watched I Am Not a Witch first, so right after I got done with Jarmusch, I'm like, I'll do it again, because the other two movies I've seen I've really enjoyed by him. Patterson is almost perfect.
I haven't seen that one. Adam
Driver plays a bus driver.
Oh.
Adam Driver's a fucking... his performance in Patterson is incredible.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. I've seen, a clip or two from it. Just, on, people's, recommendation lists.
And then we saw Ghost Dog.
Yeah.
And that was fun.
I thought it was alright. It had a lot of moments I really liked in it. I might like it a lot more now that I'm kind of, understanding Jim Jarmusch's
Jarmusch
style.
it's
very slow, and not everything necessarily has a purpose. It's meant to kind of meander a little bit.
Yeah, he has his own Jarmuschisms kind of thing. Just there's Andersonism,
And Ghost Dog was my first one, and it doesn't seem like the type of movie that would have that kind of stuff in it. Yeah. But then understanding that it's a Jarmusch film.
Yeah, I was lucky that I saw Patterson first, I think. Because Patterson, when you walk into it, you're like, okay, that's what the movie's going to be. It's pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad I watched that before Ghost Dog, because I think I enjoyed Ghost Dog more because of it.
It's the fucking Birdman!
It's the fucking Birdman! Oh! All right. Speaking of Jim Jarmusch, let's just jump right into fucking Stranger Than Paradise.
All right.
I don't even know how to... This is going to be a short little, at least, description of what happens. This came out in 1984, I think. Directed by Jim Jarmusch, obviously. Starring, what's his name? Both the main guys in it are, musicians.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, they're, musician and actors. They might be in a band together.
Huh.
Oh, I'm so tired. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Alright, not Stranger Than Fiction, starring Will Ferrell. So John Lurie and Richard Edson play Willie and Eddie, who are best friends. And then Willie has a cousin from Hungary named Eva, played by Esther Balint. Hey, she's in the new Jim Jarmusch movie, The Dead Don't Die. That's apparently not very good.
Ah. But that one looks kind of weird.
But I want to see it.
Yeah, I'll see it.
So I thought this movie was really sad. We'll get into why, but I was like, this movie is depressing. But not on a surface level. There are depressing elements on the surface.
Yeah, it definitely...
But really looking at the internal thesis of the film, just
it felt like a dark comedy to me.
So the main character, Willie, born Bella, he moved to America when he was young, very young, or...
I think it was 15 years or something before the movie.
Something like that. And he pretty much denies all his heritage, anything to do with his culture or anything. He just pretends to be American. It's revealed throughout the film that Eddie, his pretty much best friend, didn't know he was Hungarian, didn't know he was from Hungary. He thought he was born in America. He didn't know his first name wasn't always Willie. So obviously keeping secrets because he just doesn't want to relive his past.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the film opens with him getting a phone call from his aunt Lottie. And I'm like, what? What? We're watching a Bergman film?
Oh, yeah.
Lottie. And he's getting a call, and she's pretty much saying that she has to go to the hospital for 10 days. And his cousin is moving to America.
Mm-hmm.
And she needs to stay with him for 10 days while Lottie's in the hospital. He's like, fuck that. no.
Yeah. It's like,
And
what?
she's like, too bad. And he's like, fuck, okay. So pretty much she arrives.
Yeah, he's a dick to her.
He's a dick. He's like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah, he's just like, you're fucking just on my turf, taking up my time. I don't want you here. You can stay here tonight, but you got to find a different place tomorrow.
But then she just stays there.
She's pretty chill, so he kind of like gets used to her after a while.
The movie storytelling really just is.
It's
it'll
like
show a scene, and then it won't really have like a super like ending of the scene. It'll just be like, done with the conversation, cut to black, hold on black for like 2 seconds, next scene, which is a couple hours later or a day later or something. Mm-hmm. Which I thought it added to the film. I was a little worried at the beginning. I thought it, because once it happened twice, I'm like, okay, this is how it's going to be the rest of the movie. Yeah. And I was a little worried that by the end of it, I would have gotten like tired of it, but I thought it did add to the film.
Yeah, no, I like when movies like feel like just a collection of scenes from somebody's life. Very good.
This is a very minimalist story, so I'll just say the basic premise, and then we'll go through a couple important scenes. So, Ava arrives. She's going to stay 10 days. Over the course of the 10 days, she meets Eddie, which is Willie's best friend. Willie and her get to know each other more and start becoming more friendly friends. She plays a really epic song over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that song. What's that called?
Yeah, it's the I put a spell on you, now you're mine.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie is her just walking down like the city boulevard just really calmly, and just this guy, I put a spell on you! He's just like screaming the lyric. And I'm just like, this is genius.
Yeah.
I wish that more movies had just like random people just like walking, but like the music's super intense. So I think it's funny because people do that in real life. People will be listening to like super harsh heavy metal, and they'll just be like walking calmly in the dog park or something.
Oh yeah.
But what's funny is she just had a tape set and she was just playing it like out in the open, just walking down.
Yeah, she's like one of those like douchebags who would like come to school with their like speakers and just blast their music out loud.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You ever heard of Linkin Park? Yeah, pretty indie. Yeah. Probably never heard of them. You ever heard the song In the End? It's killer, bro.
Let me guess, you like mainstream stuff like Katy Perry and Rihanna, right?
Have you ever even heard of 5 Seconds to Mars?
5 Seconds to Mars.
5 Seconds to Mars.
Is that a real band, or? Because I know of 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah, it's them, but played at 6 times speed.
The perfect way to listen to their music.
That's the one with Jared Leto in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, good old Jared Leto.
Yeah, classic man.
Classic. So they start getting to know each other more. She steals a bunch of stuff for him.
Yeah, that's like the turning point for me, where
he's like, hey, you're alright. She like steals a bunch of stuff and gives him stuff, and he's like, hey, you're alright. And then he buys her a dress that he thinks is really nice. Yeah. And she's like, it's kind of ugly, no? And he's like, I didn't think so. I bought it for you.
Yeah, he's like, well,
he's like, will you wear it at least?
Yeah, like, you're over here. You should dress like the people do over here. Women wear dresses over here in America.
And she agrees to when the day she's leaving. She's like, no, I want to walk to the train station by myself. She went by train. And she walks outside, and it cuts to the next scene where she's outside and she's just taking off the dress. She's putting on like pants and she has an undershirt over. Yeah. And then Eddie walks up. He's like, hey, what's up?
And Eddie's, it's been established that he's got like kind of a crush on her at this point. So he's kind of creepy in these first couple scenes, especially with his like body.
I think it's mostly just because his character is just really awkward.
His character is really awkward.
Yeah. So it's like kind of hard to distinguish. Is he just being awkward or is he being creepy? And it's mostly awkward. Which can still be construed. I'm not saying that women think that, oh, what? No, he's just awkward. Like, it's fine to think somebody's creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think that was his
intent. Because he comes in and immediately he's like, hey, who's that? Your cousin? Yeah, she's kind of cute. He goes over, he's like, come on, let's take her with us.
Come fun.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, they go to the horse racing track there. It's established very early that they both are heavy gamblers.
Yes.
So she throws away the dress and she says goodbye to Eddie. Eddie goes upstairs and Willie's like, "Hey, did you see the beautiful dress?" And he's like, "Yeah, beautiful." And then it pretty much just cuts to a year later.
Yeah, and they Eddie and Willie cheat at a card game.
Yeah, they're playing poker and they've been like dealing to each other.
Yep.
Like specifically, they're only dealing to Willie. So like every time that it's Willie's turn, he wins, and every time it's Eddie's turn, Willie wins again.
Yeah. So they basically like just get up and leave as soon as they're accused, and they get away with $600.
And they decide to borrow Eddie's half brothers or like brother-in-law's car and drive down to Cleveland, which is where the Auntie Lottie and Ava are living.
I like how every like third of this movie takes place in like a different location.
Yeah. It honestly felt like, what if the whole Before trilogy was in 1 hour and a half movie?
I mean, I don't know if I'd say that, but I kind of get what you mean.
I mostly meant just the location and just like the movie's just extremely character and dialogue driven.
Yeah. There's a lot less talking in this movie than in those movies.
Yeah, that's true.
They're chattermouths, and these guys are pretty quiet for the most part, aside from...
Which is probably why I didn't like it quite as much, because I love listening to them talking to the Before trilogy.
Yeah,
I still like this movie, but...
Yeah, no, I don't think this is as good as, like, Before Sunrise, but I really enjoyed this movie. But yeah, so they go to Cleveland, and they basically, like... just go to the aunt's house and they knock on her door, and they find out that Ava is working at a hot dog stand. So they offer to go pick her up. They do.
It's not a hot dog stand. It's like a restaurant.
Yeah, but they say it's a hot dog stand.
I was like, I watched both of these movies with Pierre, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What was his overall impression?
Well, I'll say it when we give our ratings. I'll say what Pierre gave to it. I'm not going to put it into our ratings. I'll say what he gave it.
Okay.
But I was watching it with Pierre, and I'm like, Pierre, I've been lied to. This is not a hot dog stand.
Yeah.
But they pick her up, and they, like, pretend that, like, she doesn't know them. They're, like, turning around. They're like, oh, this is going to be funny.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, you guys, what are you doing here? And then they're like, well, oh, we came to pick you up. And so she's like, all right, I'll be out in 20 minutes. And she has, like, her boyfriend walk her out to the car, or someone that she's seen.
Just a friend.
Yeah.
Well, she says it's just a friend, and
yeah.
I think she does think he's just a friend. The guy's
Probably.
obviously just like, what? I thought we were going to fuck.
Yeah, but they like agree to go out like on a date later in the movie, or at least go see a movie together. Yeah. Yeah, so basically they like take her home, and then she gets like the phone call, and she's like, all right, I'm going to go see a movie with my friend from work. And then the aunt, who's like obviously very controlling of her life, is like, no, you can't go see him. Go see him with Eddie and Willie. And then they're just like, all right, we'll go along. And if I was them in this situation, I'd be like, all right, we'll go along. And then I would have just dropped her off and be like, all right, we'll like pick you up or something and like frame it.
Well, it's mostly like Willie's doing that, and then Eddie's like, we're going to see a movie?
Yeah,
he's
Eddie's
like all excited. He's like, whoa, the movie!
Because you can tell he's getting kind of bored. He's like, oh, man.
He like can't, and it's obvious, and there's a lot of small things that go like how Americans can't like understand other people's customs or anything. Like when the aunt gives him food, Eddie's like picking at something with his fork, and then he puts it back down. He's like eating the soup, and then he puts it down because he doesn't really like it. And Willie's like, eat your soup, man.
Yeah.
So there are little things sprinkled throughout the scenes that I really thought built up these characters, sometimes even more than like the actual like big dialogue bits.
Yeah, definitely.
But they do go to the movie, and the first shot we see of them, we just see like this one static shot of them watching the movie, and the boyfriend, or the like friend that's obviously interested in Ava, is sat between right next to Eddie. And
yeah, Eddie is sitting in between him and Ava, and Willie's sitting
like,
on the other side of Ava.
The guy's like, he like looks so sad about it.
Yeah.
And he tries to and Eddie's like super invested in the movie. He's like smiling the whole time.
He's got his back like straight up and he's like very attentive. And he like, the dude who's interested in Ava like passes her the popcorn. And he's like
and
on his way to take it back.
And then he like grabs a bunch and he's like, smiling. That was like the funniest scene in the movie.
Yeah, I think Eddie's my favorite character.
Eddie was great. Eddie was Pierre's favorite character too. Huh? Eddie was great.
Yeah, he's a great little character. It's fun to watch.
So they stay for a couple days, I think, or they.
Yeah, they're there for a little bit. A couple days. They throw some rocks at trains, and they're like, we'll leave like tomorrow or the day after tomorrow because Eddie's getting kind of bored.
Yeah, and also. And there's like they're walking around, it's snowing, and they're like, everything just looks the same.
Yeah, it's the same wherever you go.
But they leave, and Willie's like, how much on the road? Like they had just left, they were probably like 20 miles down the road. They're like, how much money we got left? He's like, $550. We only spent $50. And he's like, how about this? We go pick up Ava, we go down to Miami, we party. He doesn't say that with that same cadence, but that's the gist of it.
Yeah, because he's like, really? Because she had been dropping hints that was like,
when they were leaving
away from here.
She's like, hey, maybe you can come back and kidnap me soon.
Yeah,
she like obviously does not like it.
So they decide to go to Florida. They go back. They pick her up. The aunt's not very happy about it, but whatever, she'll deal.
He's like, well, just going, or no, and he's like, just going on vacation. We'll be right back.
Yeah, she'll be fine. Don't worry, we'll take care of her. And then they get in the car and they leave.
And she's like, you son of a bitch.
Good for nothing. But, yeah, so they go to Florida and immediately, like, they just, like, get there and they're like, all right, Ava, stay in the car. Like, stay down. And as soon as, like, the manager goes in, we'll, like, you can sneak around to our door and we'll let you in. And she's like, what?
I thought you guys were rich.
And they're like, yeah, well, there's no sense in paying for, like, 3 people. So they, like, get this room that has, like, 2 beds, and then they, like, have a cot in there. And she has to, like, sneak in, and she's not very happy about that. Then they wake up. She wakes up the next morning, and Eddie and Willie are both gone. They're just straight up left.
She's pretty pissed about it. And then they're gone, like, all day. And she's really pissed when they get back, but they're like angry at each other and stuff.
Yeah, because
they had said like last night, they're like, hey, look, the dog races.
Yeah, and like Willie's like, no, not dog races, horse races. They always go with horse races. And Eddie's like, oh no, I got a good feeling about the dogs. And they lost all their money at the dog races.
Almost all their money.
Almost.
I think I want to say that they probably had like $100 left.
Maybe. But yeah, so what are they going to do? They're going to go back to the track, to the horse races, and win money back. So that's what they're doing, but only after they like take this really iconic walk on the beach.
Yeah.
Which, that's like the poster, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. And you can tell that Willie is very upset with Eddie. And it's like, well, I mean, you had as much say in that as, like, Eddie did, so it's part of the game. You're gonna gamble. You're gonna lose eventually. Just be smart about it.
Seriously.
So they go, and then they leave Ava, and she's pretty pissed about it, because she just feels, like, helpless in this situation that they got her into.
So she buys a hat.
Yeah, she buys a hat and goes for a walk, and then this, like, random dude on the street.
With, like, a visor on. He has, like, the fucking Geordie LaForge, like, visor. And he's like, hey, man!
Yeah, hey, I see that hat. I know who you are here. And just hands her a fucking fat envelope of money.
And he's like, now tell him to leave me alone. I'm out. I'm done.
And then he leaves, and then she just kind of like
walks off, and then an identical woman walks up.
Yeah, who's wearing like a similar hat. And then, she goes to the motel room, shuts the door. She like leaves a few $100 for Eddie and Willie.
And leaves a note.
Because she had a line specifically like, hey, if you're gonna leave, at least like do me the fucking courtesy of leaving a note.
Yeah.
So she leaves a note, and she's like, I'm going to the airport. So she goes to the airport, and she's looking for, like, a flight back to Europe. She's like, what do you got? And they're like, we've only got one for tonight. It leaves for...
Budapest.
Oh, Budapest.
Budapest.
She's like, oh, that's the only flight you got? And they're like, tonight, we don't
44 minutes.
Yeah. And then we have some that leave tomorrow. So she, like... contemplates, and then we cut to them, Eddie and Willie, getting to the hotel room. They won their money back, and they're super happy. And then they find more money, and they're like, what the fuck? And then they see Ava's note, and they're like, all right, let's go to the airport. So they go to the airport. Willie buys a ticket because he's like, all right, I gotta get on that plane and see if Ava's there.
I think he calls the concierge or whatever. He's like, you're a fucking cunt or something like that. Yeah. And the guy's just like, have a good day too.
Yeah. So they like get over, and he's like, all right, Eddie, you wait by the car.
I'll be back in 10 minutes.
The only way I can get her off the plane is if I go and buy a ticket to get on the plane. So he does that, and then basically we see like Eddie waiting by the car. We see the plane take off, and immediately he's like, oh, Willie.
I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah.
What are you going to do in Budapest?
Yeah, let's go. What's in Budapest? And he gets in his car. Immediately, I'm like, you're not going to wait like 20 minutes and see if like he just got her off.
Giant shit.
Like, you realize like when he bought the ticket, time was cutting it pretty fucking close. He might have just gotten off the plane as it was taking off. And so airport's pretty decent sized. I imagine it takes a little bit to walk through them, but no, he just sees the plane. He's like, oh, all right, Eddie.
It does take a while for a plane to take off once it like pulls out of the gate as well, though.
It takes a few minutes, yeah, but you never know. I would have waited at least probably like.
No, he had a sense.
But yeah, his stomach that had been serving
I trust
so
Eddie.
well.
He's got a good feeling about it.
But
can't be wrong twice in one day.
Definitely not. And then we see the plane leave for Budapest. Eddie probably like leaves back for New York. And then we see Ava, and she like just goes back to the hotel room because we see that she didn't get on the flight to Budapest, and she just kind of chills in the hotel room, and the movie ends.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I think that on the surface, the movie just kind of ends. Pierre says that about movies all the time. If a movie has like somewhat of an ambiguous ending, he'll just be like, and it just kind of ends, and he hates that. I love ambiguous endings.
I like ambiguous endings too.
And this one felt, I don't know, to me it feels super depressing because all it is it's leaving all the central characters stranded by themselves.
Yeah.
In places that are completely different yet all the same kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like everything, the world is a boring hellscape where you can't escape monotony and you're stranded and all alone and it's stranger than paradise. Yeah. I just said the name.
Whoa, he did it.
He did it.
He worked it in. But yeah. There's really, like, I don't have, like, too much to say about this movie. It's pretty simple, and I feel like you just hit the nail on the head with that statement, pretty much. But, yeah, no, I really like this movie. I thought it was... There were some
really funny lines. Like, I really like the line where, what's the singer's name? Screamin' Jake?
Like, wild...
something,
yeah.
But then he's like, he's a wild man.
Yeah. He's my main man.
And then she tells him to bug off when he says he doesn't like it. And that whole scene was just really funny. There's some really fun scenes between
there's lots of like little bits of humor. Like I like the bit where Eddie's like playing cards with the grandma and she keeps winning. And he's like, I'm gonna play you again later and I wanna win.
And she's like, okay, I'll let you win.
And it's just like...
Yeah, even she did a pretty good job. And I don't think she's been in anything else. I think she was just like a random Hungarian woman.
Yeah, she delivered the parts as needed.
Yeah. No, I also really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to say. It's good.
Yeah, I would agree.
It makes me want to watch some more Jarmusch.
Yeah.
This was only my third. This was your second, right?
Mm-hmm. I might watch like Broken Flowers or Coffee and Cigarettes next.
Mm. So what did you give this one?
I'm gonna give this one a nice...
When you started saying nice, I thought you were gonna say 9. I'm like, whoa.
Oh no. It's a high 7.
Okay. Mine is like a mid 7.
Okay.
Pierre's was a 6.
Okay.
But like this, I was actually surprised by this because I didn't think this would vibe with Pierre.
Yeah.
But so that's how powerful the movie is.
Yeah.
Pierre liked it even though it's a genre he doesn't like.
Well, I'm glad he enjoyed it.
So a 7 from us. Definitely watch it. It's good and it's short. It's really short. It's an hour and a half. But it's nicely paced that it feels like you're on a long trip kind of thing. Like I never got bored, but I like movies that feel like they're longer than they are in a good way, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think both of these movies felt like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because neither of them felt like an hour and a half. They felt like I was on an experience with them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. This movie was very much like you were just traveling along with them.
Yeah.
Like, I even, like, there are, like, scenes where you're, like, in the car and you can
in the back seat.
Like, scenery throughout the windows. Like, I enjoyed this movie very much. So, yeah, it's a 7.
7.
And that takes us to our next film. I Am Not a Witch, with the Transylvanian accent.
This wasn't based in Romania.
I know.
I'm going to go to the kitchen real quick, but you can begin your lecture on the central theming of I Am Not... No.
Yeah, so this movie was filmed in Zambia, but it doesn't take place anywhere specific. It's kind of based off of, like, different places, like Zambia and,
Zambia, Ghana.
Ghana, yeah, because there are the Ghana, like, witch camps.
Yeah.
Which is this...
Specifically, that's where the director went to learn about the stuff.
Yeah.
This one I did a couple... I did some research as well.
Yeah, I listened to a couple of her, like, Q&As and interviews that she did.
I was just reading some stuff about it.
Okay. Yeah, because I wanted to, like, understand a little more before I, like, said anything. That way, because I totally would have thought this movie was just like Zambia if I didn't, because I don't know much about there, admittedly.
Yeah, no, actually, I just assumed it was Zambia.
Yeah, and the director talked about that. She's like, because it hasn't been screened in Zambia yet. Or it might have been now. No, thank you.
Go-Gurt?
It'll hurt my stomach.
Go-Gurt hurts your stomach?
Yeah.
But it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Go-Gurt.
That's cool. And I like the package, but they don't do very well with things that have a lot of dairy, and I already took a chance on the cheesecake.
You want some milk?
No, absolutely not. But yeah, because she did, like, screening at Sundance, and...
yeah, white people love this movie.
Oh yeah, dude, in the Q&A I was watching, there was this white guy who, like, went up, and he was like, alright, I've got a question, because she was receiving a lot of questions regarding, like, the use of humor in the film. And there were, like, a lot of people from over here who were like, is this, like, offensive? And
White people don't understand mixing comedy with, like, the harsh subjects. Like, it's the same thing with, like, Bong Joon-ho's stuff.
Yeah, and it's like...
Like, Memories of Murder. I've read a couple of reviews being like, it was really offensive to, like, make it part comedy.
Yeah, it's like most of the white people are like, if I laugh at this, am I racist? And it's like, jeez, it's meant to be funny. It was designed
like,
with
there
that
were a lot
purpose.
of scenes that were funny.
Yes. And the white guy who went up there accidentally, he was like, yeah, I know, like, I wasn't sure if it would be seen as offensive to, like, Zimbabwe. And they're like, Zambia. And he's like, oh god, I just made it so much worse. And it's like, yeah, you did. Like, I was, like, in shock hearing this, because I wasn't expecting it. It was just really funny to me. But,
oh my god.
Yeah, so... Yeah, it's kind of meant to be, like... It's based, like, the director was going for a Zambia fairy tale kind of feel to the story.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. So it's got a lot of, like, inspiration, and it was shot there, but it doesn't take place there. And I'm glad that I, like, did the interviews.
Just kind of
And now that
Africa in general, like that area of Africa.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically... Oh, I want to talk about one more thing before we get in there. Because I thought it was kind of interesting. The actress who plays Shula, her name is Maggie... let me pull up her IMDb, that way I can get a good look at her last name. Maggie...
Mulubwa.
Something. I'm sorry for probably butchering the pronunciation. I'm just reading it cold here. I didn't, look up any guides on the pronunciation. But, so, the director was, casting for this movie, and she had, some photographer had taken a picture of Maggie, before the film was even made. And she had seen this picture of Maggie, and she's like, oh, she's pretty interesting. This is an interesting photo, and this girl seems interesting. And really didn't take it from there, and then casting for the movie began, and they really weren't finding any actresses that would, fit the part. So, one of her, I think the person who was, doing the, casting, scouting was what about the girl in the photo? She's like, oh, I mean, maybe, but we don't have a name for her. We don't know who she is. This area is very populated. Where the picture was taken, it'll probably be impossible to find her. But the dude's like, no, we will find her. I am making it my mission. And they talk to the chief of her village. And he was like, oh, yeah, we'll find her. No problem. We'll just...
Easy.
We'll... Because he apparently had, a very, she described it as, a militarized way of, getting information out there and being able to, just...
torturing people.
Maybe. I don't know. Just very, uniform and organized in that kind of fashion. And they were able to find her. And, she did a great job in the movie. And apparently she's, really smart. They, got her into schooling, and she learned, English in just, a few months. And she, went
She
from,
seems really smart.
18th in her class to, 3rd in her class.
Wow. Yeah, but most of the actors in this movie have, never acted before, at least in, films or anything. And most of the, featured actors, people that aren't just, the ensemble stuff, do a pretty good job.
Yeah, no, I thought they were all pretty.
I think that some of the groups of people, you can see a couple of people not doing super hot, but that's fine. It's I feel like it's nicer to have just regular people from Zambia in a film like this than big name actors or people that are professionally trained. I feel like it's more important to have kind of a raw feeling to it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially since you're trying to accurately portray the culture to a certain extent, or at least the kind of spirit of the culture.
Yeah.
The goods and the bads, because they definitely do highlight some I think some interesting things.
I don't think this movie's mean-spirited at all.
It's a harsh criticism on the witch camps, but
and that's mostly, and honestly, that's mostly from the greed. That's where all that spawns from.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically, the movie starts, and it starts with this bus rolling up, and it's playing 4 Seasons of Winter. Vivaldi, or however.
Yeah, they play that I think 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, they played a few,
and they do it. They use it really well, I would say.
Yeah, they use it pretty sparingly, which because the movie started, I'm it's one of my favorite songs, but it's pretty overused in movies.
But I always get excited when kind of overused stuff from Hollywood is used in other countries.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how they'll use it because they used it differently, and the director. I think she lives over here. She seemed very...
She's, I know she's Zambian and Welsh. I don't know where she lives right now.
Because her cadence was, very good with her English and stuff. She sounded like she just lived, in, around these parts.
Yeah. And this was her first movie, or at least feature film.
Yeah,
that's great. Before we even say anything, I thought the direction and the cinematography were both like incredible.
Yeah, no, I really liked this movie.
Yeah,
like I'm glad that I fucking finally got around to watching it because it's been on my watch list for quite a while. I had the IMDb popped up. I want to pull up the director's page and look at her a little bit. But basically, so we start off with this like tour bus full of tourists like coming up, and they like look at the witch camps and stuff. And it's basically like they've got these women who are accused of witches, and basically like witch camps are a place where they have like kind of like a safe place for people who like claim they're witches and acknowledge it. So they like go there and basically like they're granted like protection and stuff as long as they like work on the farm. But the thing is, the chief can work them like up like as much as he wants practically, and they're essentially slaves. Like it's and the movie. I was listening to the interviews, and she said that in the real witch camps, they have like these things called invisible shrines, which are meant to like they're like described as what takes away the ability for the witches to like fly and cast like evil magic spells. And she wanted a physical representation of that for the movie, so that's what like the ribbons were.
The ribbons have such like the ribbons are so cool.
Yeah. I really like the ribbons.
The ribbons like have so many great scenes, imagery, and also just world building too. Like what a cool concept to put in a movie.
Yeah,
it ties to your themes while being different enough that it's not talking about just one place.
Because it acted as something to like ground them in one place, but it also kind of acted as like a scarlet letter kind of deal to like let people in society know, like, because there's like the one scene later where we see the one witch, like she's got it like in a shopping cart, and she like covers it with a blanket hoping that no one will notice that she's got like this white ribbon that's kind of like attached to the back of her dress. And we'll get to that scene in more detail here in just a few minutes, but so yeah, this movie begins with that like little introduction to the witch camps, and then we cut to this like local jail in this village, and there's this little girl who's being accused of being a witch, and nobody really knows where she comes from. She's been there for a little while, and
there is that small scene right before where that lady like spills her water because she sees the girl.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then she like brings the water to her, and they're like, "What?"
Yeah, exactly. So, and then it's the jail scene, and basically she's accused of being a witch, like, and there's really no credible evidence. They're just like, "Oh, she's a witch," because we don't know where she came from, and she's
a guy.
Some dude comes in and he's like, "I was in the field one day, and this
cut off
dark cloud came over my head, and then she cut my hand off with an axe.
And then I woke up.
And then everyone's like, get out of here. But she's still a witch." And so the police officer is like, okay. Are you a witch? And she won't confirm nor deny.
Won't say anything.
She's very like just shy, very meek. Doesn't want to talk to anyone.
I don't think she has any lines for the first like 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, she doesn't talk until she gets like into the witch camp. I don't think so. I don't recall any point where she spoke before that. I think her first line is the whole sequence that so she so the police officer calls like this
like the
government official,
governor, mayor, like some high-ranking guy for that region at least.
Yeah. So he's basically like, "Oh, she won't deny that she's a witch. Okay, keep her there. Make sure no one talks to her. I'll be right over." So they like just take her and get the ribbon on her, and they like are like, "You're gonna be in this witch camp," and then they like it's like the scene where she tries to run away and like they send like the two guys to go like chase after her and they just like grab her and have two of them like carry her back. And then they like put the ribbon on her.
And she tries to run away again.
Yeah.
It's yanked down.
So then they like have the
So then they have the like ritual thing where they're like, you can choose to be a witch.
Yeah.
Or they say to her that she'll be turned into a goat if she cuts the ribbon. Like,
yeah.
So, and then they put her in like a shed for the night.
Yeah. So basically they go to check on her in the next one.
She doesn't want to be a goat.
Yeah. So she just accepts her fate as a witch. And it seems like she kind of likes it at first. Like, she's getting along with, like, the other witches. God, I feel bad calling them witches because it's like they're not witches.
Yeah. We're referring to them as witches because that's what the film refers to them as. We don't actually believe people accused of witchcraft are witches. They're just regular people. This is all just using the language the film sets up. We are sorry for referring to them as witches. There you go. There's our...
Perfect. Our little disclaimer, yeah. So... She's just kind of hanging around, getting used to people. They give her, because she doesn't have a name, she hasn't like really talked very much. So they call her, they give her the name of Shula, which means uprooted. So she's been like uprooted, which is a very apt title for her.
Yeah.
So
honestly, this movie probably could have just been called Shula as well.
It could have been. I don't think it...
Or Shula's Eggs.
The perfect title there. Gosh. So, yeah. So she ends up getting recruited for basically deciding who committed a crime. They
she becomes like a judge.
Yeah. They take her and some dude in like the village had his like bag stolen. So they take her and they have like a line of suspects and they're like, all right, use your witchcraft to figure out who did it. And she's kind of like looking there for a while. And then she like calls the other witches and asks for some advice. She's like, I don't know who to pick. And they're like, all right, well, pick the darkest one. She's like, there's a couple different dark ones. And she's like, okay, if they're looking down, and some of them like, if they're looking up, like she's just getting like
an interesting thing that's introduced just in that point, because there is always still like,
oh yeah, there's still bigotry over there for even smaller differences than just like
the
white and black, like different shades. Nose size is a thing. Like that's like the whole like Rwandan genocide. I'm pretty sure was over like not specifically over that, but that was like one of the big like bigoted things that they would like claim is like they got bigger noses than us.
Hotel Rwanda's a good movie.
It is. I need to rewatch it. I haven't watched it since
Mr. Cheadle.
Don Cheadle.
Good.
He does good.
That's
good
another
job.
guy in the MCU that's just like people forget that he's a good actor.
Yeah. No, he does good stuff. He's severely underutilized in those movies.
Yeah.
Hopefully that TV show he does with it's not Don Cheadle. Never mind.
We think of Anthony Mackie, which I do think he is also underutilized.
Yeah, he is also underutilized. They do need to get War Machine some good stuff. Isn't he getting a TV show? Did I hear something about that? I don't know.
And they're probably just going to give every person a TV show.
They honestly should.
They should give me one.
Yeah.
They should let me write a Star Wars TV show so I can make Teak canon, please.
Do it.
Teak and Lumpawaru. That would be great. Like an animated... Because most of the animated TV shows are, they're for like 13-year-olds about. Or like around that. Like young... teenager kind of things. We need like a really like a kid-friendly show that's not one of the Legos. So I'm saying Lumpawaru, Wicket, Teak, Salacious B. Crumb, they all go on adventures and learn how to spell and how to read and stuff.
Whoa. Awesome.
That's a good idea. Anyway, we're talking about a movie that's very sad.
Yes. it's also kind of a dark comedy. That's the way that
I think that the first like 2/3 is pretty like lighthearted for what it is.
Yeah, once it gets to that,
and then the last third is just like, oh fuck me.
Yeah, but where were we? Oh yeah, so she picks one guy. She's like, you in the red sweatshirt. He's like, God is my witness. I did not do it.
And he's like, why are you arguing? She told you it was you.
Yeah, get in the bus. So they get in the bus, and he's like, you fucking...
We're gonna burn you alive, bitch.
They're gonna see it wasn't me, and they're gonna burn you alive. You wrongly accused me. And then they find the bag in his house, and then just a bunch of guys, like, grab him and beat the shit out of him. As far as we can see, who knows if it went further. Probably not. I don't know. Maybe they beat him up and threw him in jail. Probably.
I believe they took him to jail. I think they were taking him to like a police car.
But so yeah, she basically the like governor dude, whatever his like position is. He's like, I like you. You're a good witch. You're my witch now. She's like,
okay.
All right. So she like goes and she like gives the offerings to the other witches still, but she gets to like go live with him and his wife, who is also a witch. But he basically just drops her off, and then his wife like kind of like shows her around the house, and she does this thing where she pours like gin.
Yeah, which is an interesting thing. I wonder if that's like, because we have like salt. Yeah, it's supposed to get rid of spirits and stuff, and
the alcohol is meant to like purify.
Yeah, but I've never heard the gin specifically, because it's gin specifically. They're always buying gin. It's not just alcohol, unless this country only has gin. But
I don't know.
And I wonder if that's specifically an African custom, like an African witchcraft and stuff like that, or if it's like just around like those specific countries.
I'm not sure, honestly.
I wanna dive more into African witchcraft, because there is some interesting elements.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find any like documentaries that talk about like the Ghana like witch camps and stuff like that. See if I can.
That'd be intense to watch.
Yeah, but. So she like takes her upstairs and like shows her ribbon, and she basically like explains like, look, I was like you when I was younger. You've been given a good opportunity, an opportunity I was given to like come and, you know, lead this life. Just if you just do what they say without hesitation, just go with the flow 100%, you'll be fine and you'll end up happy like me, because I'm a respectable woman now because I'm married. And then they go to they're like going somewhere, and she's like, oh shit, I forgot the gin. We gotta go get gin. So she stops at the store, and then she's like on her way back to the car, like there's a bunch of people who notice her ribbon, and they just start harassing her. And they're like shouting at her, and like, they're like, kill her! Like one person suggests like, yeah, we should kill her. She gets in the car. She's just like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'm respectable. I'm married.
Yeah, I'm married. Please. Don't you see I'm married?
And this is the point where
we didn't talk about it. They literally scar the head to mark the witch.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, like this little girl has a scar on her head for the rest of her life now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like kind of like two little slits kind of thing.
Yeah, the tribal scarring. And then, so she gets back in the car, and this is the point where Shula is basically like, fuck this. Like, this is not the life I want to lead. And she has her, like, kind of full realization. Because there had been bits where she's like, you know, this is kind of shitty. Like, there's a scene earlier where she's, like, on the bus, and some dude just comes up and he's like, hey! Because she's kind of, like, just left unattended on the bus, and the public hates witches. They're like, hey! You're the witch that ate my, like, wife or something?
You ate my family! As soon as I get in that bus, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. He pretty much says that. I'm like, what do you mean this is a child, sir?
And then the governor dude shows up and he's like,
hey, I will slap you!
Yeah, get out of here. This is government property. She's government property. And then, I don't know what point and necessarily in sequence it happens, but around this point in the film is when he takes her on like that TV show. And
Yeah.
he tries to use her. He's like, she's got eggs, which will enhance your breakfast. And there's people like calling him like, send that girl to school. Like, what the fuck are you doing? She's not a witch. She's just a little girl.
Yeah, and he's like, this is not a normal person. This is a witch. You can't tell if they're happy or sad. And even the news guy, he's like, how do you know, though? Like, is there any possibility?
Yeah, he's like, what? You just have people...
And he just doesn't say anything.
Yeah, and she has, like, the tear go down her face. It's like, because she's obviously fucking miserable.
Yeah.
And then, so she goes to school for a day, and it seems like she's really excited to go to school, obviously. You know, she wants to learn, she wants to do something else other than just be a witch, and she wants to, like, interact with other people who just don't use her in her society. Because it gets to the point where, like, the governor dude's using her, the other witches are using her in the witch camps, because they're gonna use every, like, there's a big, like, kind of group of them, like a section of them that plan on using, like, the offerings that she gets to buy, like, wigs and shit, just, like, vanity causes. And so, like, everyone's just using her.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, you know, she just wants to go to school, and she obviously clearly doesn't seem like she's being used there. She's fitting in. She's playing, like, a game of, like, telephone with the other kids.
Yeah, but this is also a school for, like, wayward children or something, like, or disabled. Like, anyone that's looked down upon, pretty much. Like, there's some blind kids, there's some disabled kids, there's albino kids, which are looked down upon.
Yeah.
Really harshly.
And I get that, and I get, like, this statement it's trying to make, but it doesn't take away from, like, the fact that she feels like she's got, like, some people who are on her level who are, like, treating her well.
No, I agree.
And then, while this is going on, basically... So we find out that there's kind of like a split in power that's kind of like conflicting each other, because there's like the government, and then there's like the kind of like local like royalty that kind of like, or maybe not royalty, but like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. She seemed like royalty or like
a very high position of power.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. She's kind of like in charge of like the like local area, like this state that they're in, and then the government has like the kind of like federal laws that they have to follow, essentially.
Yeah.
Where they're like, well, it doesn't matter what you say, like the government says that like she has to like go to school like a certain amount of like hours per week or whatever. And she's like, no, that is for normal children. She is a witch. Go, because this dude is like kind of like a middleman between her and the government.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like his position. She's like, you go and tell them I am not happy. She will not be going to school. So then she sends like one of her guys to like take her out of the school, and like he does that by like pulling on her ribbon and just pulling her back.
Yeah, and she's just like sitting. That's during the telephone game.
Yeah,
like says it, and then she just like
gets yanked
back, and she's just kind of staring at the sky.
Yep. And then she gets taken. Is it to a different camp or is it the same camp?
I think it's the same camp, but she's forced to like work by herself for a bit. She's like in the farm.
Yeah,
like,
and she ends up like just kind of like, because there's like the bit, because everyone thinks that she can like do rain dances.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
He had said that.
Yeah,
like it's just him using his greed to try to further his plans for money.
Yeah, so she, like, everyone expects her to do this rain dance, and she tries for a little bit, and it gets to the point where she's, like, pretty exhausted, and she, like, pees on some crops. I don't know if that was, like, an exhaustion thing.
Yeah, because she, like, pretty much, like, faints, because they all have to, like, pick her up.
Yeah. And then she's carried back to the camp, and everyone's like, Shula, what's wrong? Just tell us. And she's like, I wish I had become a goat. And they're like, no, you don't. No, you don't mean that. They would kill and eat you. She's like, but I wish I became a goat. Like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then while they're sleeping, she goes out and kind of like looks at like where her ribbon is like connected to. Like she follows the trail to the end, and then
she gathers it all up, and it cuts the next morning and
there's a dude on a tractor listening to Estelle, American Boy, which I liked that. Kanye and Estelle, classic.
And then they drop off the dead body of Shula just in the middle of the field. And all the witches. That's one of my this is one of my favorite shots as they come in and all the ribbons are just like kind of intersecting and falling and leading up to this dead body.
And then they do the like little ceremony for
that's also an amazing shot too.
Yeah.
Just this overhead shot of like her dead body wrapped up and them all dressed in red.
I like the song they sing as well.
Yeah. Oh, all the songs they sing.
Yeah.
I think they sing like 3 as a group and they're all really beautiful.
Yeah. So, yeah, they give Shula her little send-off, and then...
And then it rains.
Oh, yeah.
They're in the middle. Oh, yeah. Then they go, like, to an actual... They have a little ceremony, like, underneath something, and then out in the open, they have, like, their funeral, and then it starts to rain, and it just starts pouring and pouring, and then it just fades to white. And
then there's that, like, shot of, like, the truck that has, like, all, like, the cut ribbons on it.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's the final shot of the movie. And yeah. Fuck. I really liked this movie.
Yeah, no, me too. Like, it wasn't like a masterpiece or anything, but Jesus, the cinematography it fucking blew me away.
Cinematography, I love movies that are like...
The cinematographer did Birds of Passage, I think it's called, which I've been meaning to watch.
Okay.
And another one, but go ahead and say what you want to.
I love like foreign movies, especially with like areas that I'm not like entirely familiar with, because like the landscape shots always just take my breath away, and I love like just learning like little context bits of like cultures through like the films. And it was really interesting. It was a good watch. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it was like quite on that like next level, but it
is pretty incredible for first feature.
And I'm gonna be keeping an eye on this director because I thought she did a fucking great job.
The cinematographer also did Embrace of the Serpent, which I've heard really good things about.
Okay. But yeah, no, this was a fucking great, interesting film. I learned a lot. Like, I didn't know that like the witch camps existed over there.
Yeah. It's a very informational film, and it's sad, but
yeah.
Specifically, and children. It was kind of even in the movie they hinted at children weren't really accused ever. It was mostly elderly people and like albino, but it's been on the rise from like things like Ebola. If a kid survives it, they're just like, that's a witch. Also, like, just like poverty rising, people are blaming kids now. And there's apparently a bunch of like, there's this one like preacher. I think her name's like Helen something. And people are saying like that she's one of the big causes for like a rise in children witch accusations. And it's intense. Like, children die from these. Like, they're killed. Some of them are burned alive or like through like exorcism to try to get the witch out of them.
That's absolutely fucking terrible. Wow.
Helen Pabio. She's a
Christian.
She's a Christian preacher. She's
Christian.
She's African, but she's Christian. So the white person is to blame. Like, Christianity, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck Christianity. Sorry to any potential Christians who might be listening, but fuck Christianity.
Fuck the idea of Christianity.
Honestly, fuck all religion, but fuck Christianity in particular because it's very relevant in the culture I live in.
Fuck the institution of Christianity. I won't go as far as say that all Christians are bad. Just big
Not all churches. Religious people are bad, but I think religion is bad. That's my personal philosophy on it.
Yeah, listen to Thomas's new philosophy podcast. Fuck you and fuck your religion.
Yeah, bro.
So Pierre didn't like this one. He gave it a 4.
Oh, Pierre.
But he said that it was an interesting idea, and he learned a lot. It's just not his type of movie. But you know,
maybe if they made one with robots.
Maybe if they made I Am Not a Robot. Joe actually watched this with us as well.
Oh, what did Joe he think?
Pierre. He gave it a 7.
Oh, okay.
And what did you give this one? I'm guessing 8 or 9?
8, yeah.
I'm also giving it an 8. I was sitting at a 7, but the more I talked about it, I'm just like, no, I did really like this movie.
Yeah.
It had a lot of really good things going for it. Yeah. And I fucking love the ribbons. They look so good, and it's so...
Yeah. A Blu-ray release when? I've got the DVD release. That's all they sell over here.
Okay. I just watched it on Canopy.
I've noticed that like some of like the really like low scraping indie movies tend to get like DVD releases at first, and then like if they like sell the DVDs well, I think they do Blu-rays, because like Jim Cummings' Thunder Road was like DVD for like a good few months, and then they just released like a Blu-ray of that. And it's like, oh, okay. But like Shoplifters is one that I'm surprised like doesn't have a Blu-ray, like the Korean movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I want to.
For a while, yeah.
But that's one that's only like sold on DVD. This is one. So yeah, movie. Serbian film needs that Blu-ray.
They have a Blu-ray, but it's only like region B or whatever. And I'm just like, I gotta get a region free one.
I'm gonna get a PS3 that's like, I'm just gonna mod it to have like region or free playability, because apparently it's really easy to do that with PS3s.
So, are you still down to do the big?
Yeah.
That's this week if you're good.
Yeah, I can do it.
So, first week of the year is going to be, we're doing another director.
Yep.
It's my pick, so I picked Akira Kurosawa.
Okay.
Known as, he's probably the most well-known Japanese director of all time.
Yeah, probably.
Probably also the most influential, seeing as he influenced things like Star Wars.
Yeah, no, he's...
Like, heavily. He influenced, like, one of the biggest westerns of all time, The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, Seven Samurai.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would just say he's probably one of the most influential directors of all time. Yeah.
So, yeah, Akira Kurosawa.
Let me grab the picks I got. We're watching 5.
Oh boy.
Have you watched any of them yet?
No, but I'll be able to.
Okay.
I'll watch one a day.
Well, then we should pick 7. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so we'll go from oldest to newest. So, Drunken Angel, which was 1948, an hour and a half. Ikiru, which is 2 hours, 1952. Seven Samurai, that's 3 hours and 25 minutes, or 27 minutes, 3.5 hours pretty much, 1954. High and Low, which was almost 10 years later, 1963, that's 2.5 hours. And then Ran, which is 1985, 160 minutes. So.
All right.
And I'm very excited. I'm mostly excited. I've only seen, you haven't seen any Kurosawa, right?
No,
the only thing I've seen is Rashomon, which I loved.
Okay. I've got one of his Criterion box sets that's like his early works. I need to watch some of those. I'll probably get around to watching some of them once I get a taste for Kurosawa here.
Yeah, but I'm very excited for all 5 of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope all of you had a great year. 2019 was kind of shite for me.
It was a rough year in terms of personal years for us, I'm sure, and for just the world in general.
Yeah. But 2020, here we go.
It was a pretty good year for movies, though.
It was. I was really disappointed with one, but Parasite, any year with a new Bong Joon-ho film is going to fill me with joy.
Oh,
and Climax blew me away as well. And also made me extremely uncomfortable because I have personal experiences tied to that one.
Oh, yeah.
And new Ryan Johnson movie.
I'm probably not. I'm gonna...
Let's just go now. I'll just stay up all day. I'll go with you right now.
No.
All right, guys.
Have a wonderful New Year's. We'll see you in a week. Bye.
Adios.